Hello, everybody. I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling blessed. I'm so happy. So happy I'm here with my favorite people. But we are going to go to Kansas tonight. Hold your little dog tightly.
Good afternoon. This is the Elk County District Court first appearance for May 29th, 2024. Could the Sheriff's Office advise me who they have there at the Sheriff's Office for first appearances, please?
We have Ewing on the left and Lee on the right
All right.
in oranges.
All right. Gentlemen, anyone that's here for a first appearance, I'm going to go through the general rights that a person has if they're charged with a misdemeanor or felony in Kansas. I'll come back to that when I take up the individual cases. I'll start with State of Kansas versus Justin Lee, 24 CR 20. Council, announce their appearances, please.
May it please the court, this state appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney.
And you are Justin Lee, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm Justin Lee.
Very well. Mr. Lee, you are charged in count one. Well, first of all, did you understand the rights that I explained earlier?
Yep.
All right. If you have any questions about those after I go through the charges, you may ask then. And you're charged in count one with battery. That is a Class B person misdemeanor. A Class B misdemeanor is punishable up to 6 months in the county jail and a fine not to exceed $1,000. Not saying that's what the punishment would be. It's just that's the maximum penalty. In count two, you're charged with violation of a protective order. That is a Class A person misdemeanor. A Class A misdemeanor is punishable by up to 1 year in the county jail and a fine not to exceed $2,500. You understand what you're charged with, Mr. Lee?
Yep. I was plead guilty to both.
Well, are you understand?
I'm not going to dick around with y'all. I'm not going to play games with y'all. I'm not going to go through all this BS. Y'all said there's enough evidence there to charge me, so obviously I did it. So let's just get on down the road and go ahead and do what we're going to do.
Well, Mr. Lee, you've been charged.
I don't want a lawyer. I don't want
Mr. Lee,
go right.
be quiet. Let me explain a couple of things to you. If you still want to do what you're claiming, that's fine. But a person that's charged with this is charged by the state. The state doesn't determine if somebody's guilty or not guilty. You can request a jury trial. You can request a trial to the bench. That's separate. So you're entitled to have that trial. If you wish to waive that, you may do so. If you wish to waive an attorney, you may do so. But you do with a guilty plea, you understand that we would then proceed to sentencing.
Yes, sir. I understand that.
All right. With those in mind, with those things in mind, how is it you wish to plead to count one, battery?
Guilty.
And count two?
Guilty.
Explain what happened on or about May 27th of 2024 in Elk County, Kansas, that makes you believe that you're guilty of battering a James Lee and violating a protective order against a Corin Ryan.
The violation of the no contact order is I was on her property. I was in her house, even though I was invited to be there by Corin Ryan. I knew there was a no contact order and I violated it. I was where I wasn't supposed to be. As far as the battery, I don't know who James Lee is, but I know
James Ivy.
Yeah. Okay. James Ivy you know, he got up in my face, and, punched me, and, the fight was on. You know, the fight was on. And
Alright.
so, until there was enough people there that they could break it up, and, that's just how the cookie crumbled, you know? I grabbed him and put my hands on him out of anger. He grabbed me, put his hands on me out of anger. So,
All
you
right.
know, I'm man enough to admit my faults and my misdeeds.
All right. Has anybody forced or threatened you in some fashion to enter your plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medications or intoxicants at this time?
I do take medication, yes, but it's nothing that affects my ability to understand what's going on.
Very well. And is it correct that you wish to waive your attorney, understanding that you'd be having to represent yourself?
Yes, sir, I understand that.
All right, there is a form they have for waiver of attorney that sheriff's office should have. I want the defendant to sign that. All right, I will hear the parties now in regards to recommendations of sentence. I'll start with the state, and then I'll hear from Mr. Lee, and then I'll make my ruling.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gillette?
Judge, count one is battery class B misdemeanor. I'd recommend 6 months underlying suspended for a 12-month probation. On count two, class A person misdemeanor, I would recommend a 6-month underlying sentence and 12 months supervised probation, no contact with either victim during the probation term. Even if he's invited, not to be over there or talking on the phone to them, and to continue the no contact order during the time of the probation. Court costs, booking fee, and probation fee to be assessed to the matter.
Are you aware of any prior convictions for this defendant?
Yes, Judge, he's had prior convictions even here within Elk County, but these are misdemeanors, so there's not a PSI. He does have an aggravated felony conviction for domestic battery with Corinne Ryan. That is in that 22 CR 1516 case. That's why there's a no contact order with her. And it was a condition of his parole to continue no contact with her.
Mr. Lee, is there any statements you'd like to make before I pronounce sentence?
No, I haven't, I agree with everything Mr. Gillette has said.
Mr. Lee, are you on probation or of some sort now?
I'm on parole right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I haven't heard anything from parole yet. But normally a no contact that is issued through state parole victim services and not the courts is handled by the parole officer, and the parole officer is judge, jury, and executioner in that case. But apparently for some reason y'all are deciding to do it this way this time, so it is what it is. You know, I'm at the point I'm not fighting anything anymore. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Obviously it's everybody's going to do everything they can to keep me locked up. No matter where I go, no matter what I try to do, no matter how much help I try to be, no matter how hard I try to do the right thing, that's not going to matter. I'm just the scum of the fucking earth that deserves to fucking be locked up the rest of his life. So I'm done fighting y'all on it. I'm done fighting y'all on it. If you know, whenever I mess up, throw the key away, throw the key away, throw the key away, throw the key away. I don't care anymore.
Judge, there's a parole arrest and detain order that was issued 5/28/24 for him. And they will be sending the official hold. But they did send the order to arrest and detain. It was faxed to the sheriff's office on the 28th yesterday.
Very well. I've heard.
Looking at a minimum of 90 days on that. So I've got a year's probation and all this other stuff. How is this gonna work with me facing a parole violation? We're gonna be doing the same thing again. It's gonna be the same thing. I can't report to a probation officer because I'm in prison. I'm in prison. So I'm just gonna have to come out and have warrants and everything else all over again. This is not right to me.
Well, sir, you had a right to an attorney, you had a right to a trial, and you waived that by pleading guilty.
I understand all that, and I do plead guilty because I am guilty. I'm just saying, how is all of this going to affect me? How is all of this going to work out to where I don't get screwed? How's this citizen going to work? You know, you asked me for my, I told you I agree with what Ms. Gillette says, you know, that you know, as far as my record and stuff, and that's the truth, I do. You know, but my concern is, you know, I'm looking at you know, 18 months, 6 to 18, well, a year to 18 months on probation, depending on how you run it. Whether you run it consecutive or concurrent, and then you know, I'm looking at the same time of parole, 90 days to a year there. So that's 90 days to a year. One of those probations that Ms. Gillette mentioned, that your probation was to be supervised. So if I'm not reporting, then that's a violation. But how can I report if I'm going to?
I don't think that's what he's talking about.
All right, Mr. Lee, I've heard your statements. I'm going to pronounce my sentence at this time.
Okay.
Please do not interrupt. In regards to count one, battery, I am going to sentence you to 90 days in the county jail. I've considered a fine. I'm declining to enter a fine. In regards to the violation of a protective order, I'm sentencing you to 90 days in the county jail. Those will run concurrent with each other, and they will run consecutive to any other case that you currently have already been sentenced on. I have considered whether or not to place you on probation. And hearing your statements, I don't hear any remorse. I don't hear anything that even remotely sounds like you are going to follow through with any conditions that are placed on you, as you were already on parole and committed things that you've already pled guilty to here. I don't believe probation is appropriate. I'm denying probation. You'll serve 90 days on this case, and then you'll be, this case will be resolved. You will, any court costs are assessed to you, processing fees are assessed to you, and those will go to collections after you have served your sentence. Mr. Lee can be taken back to his cell.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That adjourns that case.
All right, guys, be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.